Hey everyone, how are you doing? Oh, that's very bright. How are you doing today, everybody? It's Hillary, the marketing mom. Glad you're able to join me. I'm gonna move this around just a little because I seem to have a lot of extra light in my office today. And the selfie stick doesn't want to stay up. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Hillary. I'm a marketing mom. I'm a social media manager, digital marketing strategist, and I work with mothers in particular who are looking to build a business online, ready to leave the world of work or maybe enter, in a sense, the world of work. If you've been a stay-at-home mom for a long time and you're ready to, get into a little bit of doing something different, all right, earning a little income online. I'm a mother of 2.5, wife and mother, and I started this business about 5 years ago. Our first daughter will be 5 this year, and that's when I started my business. When I was pregnant with her, going on maternity leave, I said I don't want to go back. I just don't want to go back because the awesomeness and the responsibility of being a mother kind of setting on you, and you realize I can't be in the office and raise my kids, right? Well, long story short, 3 months of maternity leave and I was back out to work, but I had already started the groundwork for my business, laying that groundwork, and within a short 6 months I was able to leave my job full-time permanently and been working from home and building our business online since then. All right, so it is possible. All right, yes, it's been 5 years, but it does take some time to build, and you've got to be consistent coming here. So today, showing up every day, and whatever showing up means for you in your business, that means that you just got to show up. I don't mean shuffling papers, making to-do lists. I mean actually getting work done. All right, but today I want to talk something about mom talk, because recently a neighbor of ours, they recently had their child put into daycare. Not that they needed to, but I remember that whole experience that we went through with both our daughters, and I wanted to share this especially for moms who are like, they just can't seem to get any work done with their kids at home. All right, and we're talking about kids 5 and under who don't necessarily have to be in school legally from a legal standpoint or anything like that, right? But we're talking about, especially there are some mothers who, yes, they don't want to have their children out too young, okay? And for some moms, working moms especially, when we first started, at 6 months, our daughter, at 3 months, I went back to work, and she just had to eventually, well, actually at that time my mom was still helping us, so there are different scenarios. But while I was still working, it was during that period that our first daughter went into daycare, and many working moms, they experience that as well. All right, they experience the fact that as soon as maternity leave is over, you've got to find daycare, and sometimes that's younger than 3 months, okay? Especially in the US. We are lucky that we have 3 months. There are countries that, give 9 months, a year, and that's all great. So, excusing the little notifications coming through, right? So, as a working mother, a lot of moms, they know that in the back of their head they're going to have to find childcare, okay? And stay-at-home moms, they are afraid to do any type of work that's going to require any bit of concentration, because they know the amount of care that's needed for children between ages 0 to 2. All right, it's just like you have to put in a lot of energy and a lot of time into keeping their attention. All right, you've got to schedule their activities, you've got to schedule their nap time, prepare their meals, and all of these sorts of things, okay? So fast forward now to when our second daughter was born. I was already at home working out of the office, and our first daughter was already in daycare. So now here comes the reality of, oh, we have another baby in the house, and now my work time has been reduced because we've got to take care of the baby. So the solution that we had for that is, because I really didn't want her going out at month 1. That just didn't make sense, okay? And our solution to that was we brought the care home to us, all right? So that I had my fixed work hours. So again, this goes back a lot to your planning of your work, your day, because Your business is not a hobby. It's just like if you were going out to a job. You've got different things to do every day. And if you set your work hours, then basically what we did was we brought care home. All right, we hired care to come home on particular days. It was not every day, and on those days I did my work. All right, so that's one solution. Now maybe you don't, now we couldn't afford to have 5 days a week, so we had, I think we started off with 2 days. So basically when my baby was first born, I had 2 work days. All right, because that's when I had the babysitter coming in to watch the baby. Okay, now keeping in mind our first child was already out. Now the thing is, by that time, our first child was what, maybe 3 years old. So at that age, most people have come around to the idea of, well, it's time for preschool. You've got to go into your preschool type of environment and learning. But there's still some moms who want their 3-year-olds at home, 3-4-year-olds. Maybe by 4 they will send them off to preschool, okay? But how do you work around that if you're working from home? You're a mom, you've got 2 little ones under age 5, and you basically have to get some work done. When you're doing online marketing, it's just like any other job. You have to have a certain amount of dedicated time. Now, I'm not saying you can't work within your little 15-minute gaps, but say you want to do some research for a blog post. That may take you 30 to 45 minutes. And guess what? The attention span of a 3-year-old is about 5 minutes. So if every 5 minutes they're coming and bothering you, how much research are you getting done? Okay? So, very important, the discussion, you've got to think about it and have that discussion, because literally you've got to figure out when are your work hours in your day. And if you aren't able to or don't want to have your children in daycare, the next best option is either family to come in during those times and watch them, or you've got to hire the daycare type of help, right? Now that worked very well for us because we had eyes on the person watching our child. When it was lunchtime, we would come out and just make sure everything is fixed up. But we literally had the time and the brain space, the clear thinking space to be able to focus on work for that specific time. Now what happened on the other days, right? Well, you just gave those up, all right, literally, because what you would do is you do lighter stuff like check emails, send emails, things that you could do in a quick 15 minutes. So if they're taking a nap for an hour, you do that. But definitely moms that are working from home, you still need to think about the childcare situation that you're gonna use or utilize, because at the end of the day you do need that time. All right, when I first got started, I thought, oh, I can manage this, kid's home, and I'll be working, right? So the kid will be in the rocker and I'll be working, and that works up to a certain age. But you see, once they start to move, right, once kids start to move, they start to talk, they start to do all sorts of things, that's when you realize that I need somebody else to watch my child for me for these 3 hours. Now remember, you can get a lot done in 3 hours. I remember the first time I sat down for 3 full hours at home, I got more work done at home than I ever did in 3 hours in the office when I was working a full-time job. And why is that? Because you know what? Anywhere where there's a lot of people, you've got little kids and then you've got big kids, all right? So in the office, you would probably experience the same thing. You get to work 8:30, whatever time. You start work, okay? And then 25 minutes into whatever you're doing, somebody comes, hey, you want to go for coffee? You go for coffee. You come back, 30 minutes later, you sit down to work. Oh, we have a meeting in 5 minutes. It's not scheduled, unscheduled meeting. So you see very quickly how your day gets chopped up. Think about your home the same way you would think about the office, all right? Now, maybe some people's offices are a little different and they don't get disturbances every 25 minutes on the button, okay? But you've got to think about if you're working from home with kids under 5, and I'm talking about kids under 5 because that's been my experience thus far, okay? You've got to think about it that way, that you will get disturbances, you will get distractions. What are you going to do to alleviate it? So think about what you did. When I was in the office, in the workplace, what I did was I went and I found an empty conference room, and I went in there, locked the door, and I worked quietly, right? That's the same environment that you need to create at home if you're working from home. Think about if you've got a client project to work on. Your 3-year-old can't come and say, Mommy, it's time to paint. No. Okay, when you've got the client's work to do. What you can do is set her up for the painting and have somebody else watch her, whether it's an aunt, whether it's a grandmother, or whether it's hired help. All right, and sometimes that's what you need. You need to hire a babysitter to come in. Daytime babysitters are much cheaper than nighttime babysitters. Okay, just letting you know that off the bat. I think that's a global thing. But you need somebody to monitor your children. Now, what is great about that is they still interact with somebody else. They still got their activities going on during the day that you could still plan, and then it's supervised by somebody else. But you've got eyes on your children, and you can have that system in place for as short as you want or for as long as you want. Our second daughter didn't go out into the daycare system, and either way she was going with her sister, so that made a big difference. But she did not go out into the daycare system until she was over a year. All right, which was great for us, because you don't really, you kind of don't want a little baby to go out there all by themselves, right? With Olivia, I think she was, well, I can't remember if she was walking or not, right? But her situation was, you know, I was working, so we really needed to find a solution ASAP. Okay, so that is my mommy talk for today. Okay, it's just a couple tips, especially for those moms who are working from home, and particularly from both perspectives, because you know, the moms who are working in the office and they're coming home to do work as well, you want to think about work for a business. You also want to think about who's watching your children during that time that you need the dedicated space. Okay, I'm not encouraging slack work here where you're working on your business in your workplace. All right, but when you come home, all right, you've got to be able to carve out an hour, carve out 2 hours. Maybe it's after the kids go to sleep, maybe it's in the afternoon when they're playing outside with daddy or whoever. Okay, but you've got to figure out your timing, but always make sure that you know what to expect. And you know, the thing is, with moms who are stay-at-home moms, I've heard this before, a lot of stay-at-home moms who've had their kids home for maybe a year, 2 years, it's so hard for them to let go of their kids. Guess what? It's even harder for a mom after 3 months of being home with their baby to have to let go of that kid. It's even harder. And that was one of the driving factors for me getting home. So that, yes, I knew they'd eventually have to go out. Okay, you eventually have to, you just have to come to that. But I didn't have to come to it so soon, and I didn't have to go through that torture, because literally, if you're putting a 3-month baby into daycare, it's really hard. It's really hard on the mother, it's really hard on the parents. And it's easier to do that when they're 2, when they're 1.5. It's much easier, because you've seen them grow, you've seen them develop, you've seen them come into their own. All right, it's not I don't think it's easy completely, but it's much easier to say, okay, little Timmy, or okay, little Sally, it's time to go. It's time to go off to school. All right, and we always tell them it's school because they feel that they're big and, you know, they're doing big people thing. All right, so that's my mom talk for you today. For those of you, again, who don't know me, don't know my story, I am Hillary, the marketing mom. You could find out more about me, how to work with me, how to train with me or coach with me, or even if you want me to come and speak, all right, HillaryDeFreitas.com. All right, and if you want to schedule a free 30-minute chat, all right, I give away my free 30-minute chats at HillaryDeFreitas.com/strategy. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow, 12:30 GMT -4. Bye, everybody.